This segment is brought to you by JigMasters Jigs. When in doubt, get the jig out. Go to JigMasters.com and use promo code PNF20 and save 20% off your next jig order today.
Welcome to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. This is the final cast segment with your hosts Brad Hicks and Josh Eldridge, where we cast our final opinions on all products, good and bad. Welcome to the final cast.
Welcome everybody back to the final cast on the Paddle and Fin Network. My name is Josh.
I'm Brad. That was a little
What's
loud.
up, Brad?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Brad's on Cloud 9 tournament love right now.
I am, dude. This weekend was fun.
I bet, man. I bet. So, Brad and I are going to do it a little bit different on this week's episode. Instead of reviewing a product, we're going to kind of review what happened tournament-wise for us this month. Brad, I assume that you're not going to be any more tournament. You're not in a tournament this weekend, are you?
No, I'm doing all the Cincinnati ones this year, so there's 6 events.
Okay.
The next event is May 29th or something like that.
Cool. So Brad had a really stellar finish, placed second. So we're going to get into that, and we'll talk about I did a couple monthlies. I did Jackson's charity tournament for the COVID, and then I did the KBF monthly. I didn't do too hateful. Most of my fish were actually caught a few weeks ago. I've had a few skunks since then, but we'll kind of get into that also. So, Brad, you want to tell us what tournament you did this past weekend?
Yeah, it was the Cincinnati Kayak Fishing Trail ran by Strictly Sail and Brian Tacey. He runs a good trail, man. I like fishing that trail. I don't really have anything to compare it to, but I've never fished Buckeye Trail yet. It just hasn't fallen into place for me. But we had a 150-mile radius tournament that we fished, and you could fish within 150 miles of Great American Ballpark, I think, which is Cincinnati Reds Stadium. And
I see. He kind of switched it up a little bit as opposed to being from Strictly Sail.
Yeah. I think it's always been from Great American.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought it was from the shop.
I thought it was too originally, but then I saw other guys talking, and they're like, no, it's Great American Ballpark. I'm like, oh, okay. That's cool.
That's cool. Heck yeah, man. So if I remember correctly, that tournament, it was supposed to be the Cowan Lake tournament, right?
Yeah, Cowan
Maybe
Lake.
that's what it is, dude. Anything associated with Cowan Lake, you just grasp it and just...
I hate Cowan Lake so much that I just want to beat it or whatever
No, you
replaces
don't.
it.
You say that, but then you just go there and you walk out with a few $100s stuffed in your pants like, what's up? What's up, Cowan Lake?
Well, the funny thing is the very first tournament last year was the beginning of April, and I got skunked. And those conditions were awful, too.
Yeah.
And there was 15 people caught fish that day, and it was like 32 fish total out of 55 anglers.
Yeah.
But that lake usually isn't my friend.
It has been the past 2 years, bro. It's your best friend, man.
Well,
I mean, that's where I got the nickname Trash Panda. So it's got a special place in my heart too.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to spend weekends there back when we were in high school and to college. We used to go camping for a week there every year, and we used to terrorize the raccoons. And then I told that story, and then we had the raccoons show up, and then I heard the basically party that they were throwing outside my tent all night long, trying to get to the bones and the meat that were thrown up underneath Brian Schiller's camper. So
yeah, I didn't know the whole backstory to that nickname.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, so we used to terrorize them, man. We would set them up and get them to come into the camp and just poor Trash Pandas. So they become my friends. I feel bad. Yeah. I was an a-hole back then. So, but
that's hilarious.
Brad and I haven't talked about this. I've just congratulated him on his win and stuff. So I was following it during the second
place. It wasn't a win.
Yeah, I know, but still, it was I mean, there was a good amount of anglers in it. 53, right?
63.
63? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was 53. But I mean, you put on a good showing, man. And what was impressive is that Brad did this all in the river. You said you put up, what was the tournament that he fished was a 3-fish limit. And what was your final total?
56.25, which was like an 18 and something average.
So Brad caught 2 19-inch river smallmouth and a 17.5. Was that correct?
17 3/4.
17 3/4. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's, dude, that in itself is a stellar day on the river, let alone the fact that you did it in a tournament. And tell us about what the conditions were like that day.
Dude, it was so cold. It was rainy, and we had gusts of wind like 20 to 30 mile an hour at points. Beginning of the day wasn't too bad though. It was raining a little bit. It wasn't windy though. But as the day went on, that wind, man, I got so frustrated with the wind. I ended up not fishing the whole duration of the day. I got off the water at like 1:30.
Yeah. Well, what time that tournament ended?
4.
4.
At the time, yeah. At the time, I was in second place. The guy that was in first, I would have had to catch a 21 1/4 inch smallmouth to beat him. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to happen in Ohio on the river. So I was just like, yeah.
I don't know, dude. You had some good luck going. Don't sell yourself short.
Yeah.
You might find that like rare gem of like a 23-inch river smallmouth in Ohio.
Dude,
God, I can't imagine, dude.
I'd poop my pants. Just being honest. And when I caught that 19.5, dude, I started hyperventilating. It was weird. I was like, oh my God.
Is that your personal best now?
Tied. I caught that 19.5 last year. But I sent you guys that picture, and that tail was like just shy of 19 3/4. I mean, like within a fraction.
Yeah.
I pinched the tail. I got it to touch 20, and we talked about it in the group. Ryan was like, nope, not a 20. You said, yeah, that was a 20. I don't know. I don't care. It's whatever.
I mean, that's what mine did when I was with you is I could get it to 20, but every time I snapped the picture, man, he would fan his tail out again and it would just go hair underneath it. So, I mean, if that's close enough to me, you know, I mean, I remember when I first caught the one when I was like really new to wade fishing and I posted up on OGF and I was like, yeah, it's 19 15/16.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen guys do that.
And it was just a hair short and everybody's like, dude, I'd mark that as a 20 in my book, you know, like I was like, all right, cool. But you know, I still, you know, the first legit 20 that I caught was the one with you last year on the river. And you know, that I got it to touch 20 easy. I just couldn't get the picture of it. So as opposed to sitting there, I mean, that fish, I had him in and out of the water for, you know, a good solid 5, 6, 7 minutes, trying to get the picture taken and then show you, and you took a picture, and then Justin and Chris came over and they wanted to see it. So, you know, after a while I was like, all right, man, you know, after a few minutes I was like, I gotta get this fish back in the water. So
yeah, here's a picture of the tail.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like just shy of 19 3/4, and that's not me pinching it at all. Yeah. Man, I don't know.
It's all right though, man. It's awesome fish. So, so you caught that fish first, right? Was that your first one?
No, I caught one like 30 minutes in, maybe around 30 minutes. I think it was around 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
13 and what's that? What's that?
Give us a rundown of like what you caught, when, kind of thing. Like,
oh, okay.
Like what sizes were you looking at?
Yeah, actually, the very first hit I had, I was throwing the Wicked Weights underspin with the Kayak. I was pulling it through this eddy right along a seam, right back to me. I was about to pull this lure out of the water, and this fish just slammed on it. I didn't hook up, but it slammed it. That's the second day in a row that happened to me. I caught one Saturday doing the same thing, about to lift the thing out of the water, and he just jumps and slams it.
Yeah.
That was the
I've had
first.
that happen a lot with Saw Guy. Like when it's like the water's kind of dirty, man, like on the
Mhm.
Little Miami River, especially, get ready to pull the Kayak up out of the water, and it's like about a foot down just to where I can see it, and then boom, see a Saw Guy slash on it. They usually miss. I mean, I've had them hook up for just a quick second, shake off, but
Yeah. Yeah, that was the first activity I had. I think I was right off the bat too. That was within first 15 minutes. And then a little bit longer, I caught that 13 and a quarter maybe, or 13 and 3/4. I can't remember. So I was like, all right, cool. I was in the top 5 all day, I think.
yeah.
Cause Chris Jaunch was first place at one point. He had his limit pretty quick, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and I was right behind him. I wasn't getting any activity on that side of the river, so I switched over to the other side of the river and started casting in TRD, and that's where I hooked up into 17 and a quarter, I think. Yeah, 17 and a quarter, and that thing was a football, absolute football. That thing was fat. Let's see if I can pull this picture up real quick.
So you had a 17 and a quarter, and that wasn't even on your
I
free fish limit.
called that one.
Nice. It was a football, man.
Yeah, it was. So yeah, I caught him, and then I think I caught the 19 and a half after that, the biggest
Okay.
one of the day. And then I was in first for a while after that, up until probably about noon, and that's when I went and took a break. No, I caught another 16 and a half after I caught the 19, and I didn't get a picture of the 16 and a half because it didn't call, so I just threw it back,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to get back to fishing. And then I went and took a break in the truck because my hands were so cold, I could not like cast my bait caster, reel, or I couldn't even grip the fish. Like I dropped which one was it? I think it was the 17 and a quarter. I dropped him in my boat. He was flipping around, went in the drunk drawer. I couldn't lip him. It was, oh dude, it was crazy. I don't know.
So Brad sent us a message to the Paddle and Fin host when he decided to take a break, and it was absolutely hilarious. So this is during the live feed, I think. Might have been a little bit afterwards, but let me see if I can pull it up here. Did you send it to the host one or the tourney
Yeah,
one?
the host one. I think I can't remember. But yeah, I sent you guys that. I sent you a message. I was like, I have to sit in my truck, dude. I can't move my hands. It was cold. My
Yeah, let
gloves
me
were
get
soaking
to it.
wet.
Yeah, Brad texted us to let us know what was going on with his hands, and he was freezing.
I for sure thought I was going to lose that 19 and a half and the 17 and a quarter. That's how cold my hands were. And the way I was reeling, my bait caster, you know how you like hold your grip like this?
Yeah.
I was holding it like this because I couldn't move my fingers. I had like a closed fist on my the grip of my bait caster, and I was just trucking it in. Oh man, that was probably one of the worst conditions I've ever fished in, though, man. It was awful.
So Brad texted us and said, I'm in the truck now. It's cold. My hands are freezing. And then he tried to type again, and he wrote, I've got rum. And then something like, which was supposed to be, I've got time. And then something else. That was hilarious. And yeah, so we were.
I was saying I got till 4.
Oh yeah, but it didn't say 4. It said
I got rum. That's what it said. Yeah. The first text I did the talk to text thing. I couldn't move my fingers. So then I tried texting that part and it just went bad.
Yeah. So I remember checking around that time and you were sitting in first, and then about 15 to 30 minutes later is when I looked back again into it. I was intrigued at that point. and you were actually up in first by quite a bit. And then that guy
Mhm.
caught another 21 inch. He caught two 21-inch
Yep.
largies. And I saw him take the lead, and I was like, well, the Brad could upgrade. But then when you did the math, you're like, I'd have to catch like a 21-inch. So you were down probably by what, like 5 inches at that point?
Yeah, it was 5 inches,
Five
five and a
something?
quarter, five and a
Yeah.
quarter.
Because then you were trying to call that 17. But yeah, man. So Brad, though, when he totaled up everything, it would have been a 5 fish limit of 90 inches out of the river,
90 on the
smallmouth,
dot.
90 on the dot here in Southwest Ohio. That is pretty amazing, man. That's pretty awesome. The fact that you did that also. And what time did you get out there?
It was like, well, I didn't get out there till sunrise because I don't have a light.
Yeah.
So
So
it's,
7 something.
no, it was like 6:50, 6:45, something like that.
Okay. So you fished from 7 till approximately 1:30, and you
Yeah,
caught
pretty much.
a 5 fish smallmouth river limit of 90 inches.
Yep.
Do it, dude.
Me, what?
Dude, everybody was like giving you such mad props for it too. That's awesome, man.
I know, like, Kurt, he even made a post and tagged me, and I'm like, dude. He was like, I was like, thanks, Kurt. That means a lot because he's the standard here in Ohio. And I said that, and he was like, no, you're the new standard, dude. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm gonna let you guys down so hard in our next tournament. I'm gonna put up like 30 inches, and you guys are gonna laugh.
But I mean, it's second place finish, man. You had first for quite. I thought you had first locked up, to be honest with you, man. I was like, that's gonna be hard for somebody to beat that. But obviously, with it being a 150-mile tournament, who knows? It's kind of basically an online tournament, and you got a lot of water to choose from within a 150-mile radius of Cincinnati. So there was definitely some good spots that were in there. But the fact that you did it locally, it's pretty awesome, man. Congratulations.
Thanks, dude. I'm still pumped about it. I was at work today, actually running some Tyvek, nailing it up and stuff, and I was just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, that was fun. I want to do it again.
What's gonna happen now?
What's that?
Every fishing trip you have now is gonna be a letdown.
I know.
It's never gonna measure up to that.
I know. I kind of had a similar day back in October too. I caught that 19 and a half and then an 18 and a half and then a few other fish, I think, that were around like 15 or something like that.
Yeah,
And that was
you just
What's
topped it off again.
I did, but yeah, I still think back to that day too though. That was
Yeah.
the same day Justin won and caught his 20 on the Buckeye River tournament. Same area too.
Yeah. That's pretty impressive, man. My story sucks compared to yours, but it's all right. It was kind of funny though, because my first jaunt onto the river. All right, so I'm doing 3 tournaments right now. Well, not 2 now, but the one's getting ready to end, and I doubt that I'll fish prior to it. It's possible, but I don't think so. When's this month end? Yeah, I won't have another day to fish for it. But so I was sitting around 18th to 20th place in the monthly. So I'm about in the mid pack, right in the middle.
KBF?
Yeah, for the KBF monthly. I got 83 inches. 83 inches, same thing as in the COVID tournament for Jackson Orr, but there's so many people in that. I'm in like between 40 something and 50th place. Same thing, about mid pack in that one. But I can't even say mid pack because there's a lot of people who aren't really scoring their fish for the COVID thing. They just signed up for it. So
yeah, donate money.
But I mean, 83 inches. They were all river smallmouth. So I'm not like, down on it. Not a bad limit for fishing the river around here. I caught a 19 inch smallmouth that's in there. That was on one of the first times I went. It's kind of weird. kind of a funky day and a funky way I caught it. I threw my Kitech downstream and I was reeling it back in like against the current when it hit. And I don't get too, I get hits like that sometimes, or you'll see them swipe and miss it. But a lot of times it's kind of hard to hook up with a fish like that because you tend to pull the lure out of its mouth, you know, with the current like that, because they're biting at the back side of that instead of the front side of it. So, but, and then I'm also doing like a private tournament with my buddies with Dylan and Braden and Kyle.
Yeah.
Big shout out to them and Jeff. And it's kind of just a little private tournament between the 5 of us fishing our local river here. And so I'm leading that one, but Braden's been on a tear lately. So every time I look, dude, he's gain on me. So it's 10 fish, right?
Yeah.
10 fish. And yeah, dude. So I have 159 inches. And last time I looked, Braden had 120 something, and he's at 152.5 now. So he's only 6.5 behind me.
Dang.
And then Dylan is up to 120.75. And then Kyle's at 59.25, and Jeff's at 17.75. I don't think Jeff's been out there too much.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Dylan and Braden fished the Cincinnati tournament.
yeah.
Yeah, Dylan didn't place bad. He pulled out a limit, like a 40-something inch limit.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably river fishing too. I don't know if they went to a lake or not.
Me and him ran into each other.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. So, you know, that's kind of where I'm at with tournaments. I got my matchup against
oh yeah,
the chief, the president, the CEO of Paddle and Fin, Brian Sly Dog Schiller, this weekend on Sunday from 8 to 12.
All right, so I was on the first live stream of that. I didn't get to watch it this past weekend. And it's Sunday, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you guys fish. Now I don't know I don't know if I'll be able to watch it or not.
I don't know. It might not be that exciting. You might be like, Eldridge, you're an awful angler. And I'll be like, yeah, I know.
Do you know where you're going?
So I've got some.
You don't got to say. I was just curious if you knew.
It's a possibility I might go to Erie. Possibility to a undisclosed location. It's possible another undisclosed location.
Is this the spot that I've been to with you?
No.
Oh, okay.
Actually, one of them is.
Okay.
I
know where.
I don't know if it's that one specifically, but. And then it's possible I might just be like, hey, Brad, where'd you go catch, 90-inch limit of smallmouth? I need you to take me there.
Dude,
Brian's convinced that I'm paying people for GPS locations.
You don't have to pay people, dude. You've got some nice smallmouth.
I told him I paid Aaron Steiger $1,000 to be my guide.
I saw that. Yeah, Aaron was like, I'm going to take him to my favorite spot. He said that. I was like, I know where that is. I want to go.
So, I'm playing it by ears. It's weather dependent, obviously, too, since I'm in a paddle boat. So if the wind is awful, Erie might be off the list. But if I go to Erie, though, I'm not going to be fishing the main lake. It'll probably be like a harbor. I don't know that it's going to be east-west harbor. I might fish a marina. Our buddy Mike Grimsley, he's got relatives. I think his dad lives up on Erie, so him and I are thinking about just making a weekend trip out of it. So I don't know.
That'd be fun.
Like I said, it's all dependent on the weather, and the weather was not looking too hot for this weekend, so that's kind of what I'm waiting on. And you know how hot weather is, man. It's always garbage until like the day before if you see really truly what it is. So
or it's garbage on on tournament day, and then the very next day it's 70 and sunny.
Yeah, dude, today was gorgeous. It was really windy, but
it was nice.
But so what do you got? You're just doing the CKF stuff this year, right?
Yeah. I became KBF member So I don't know if that mate qualified me for the national championship or not. I asked Brian mid-tournament. That's when I signed up to be a member. He was like, "Oh, you could try it. I'll put it in, see what happens." I'm like, "Okay, whatever."
Yeah.
I knew I was gonna place in the money, so I was like, "Yeah, $50 towards that, whatever." So I don't know. If I don't do that, I'll probably end up in some monthlies this year if it
Yeah.
didn't go through.
Yeah. Speaking of the monthlies, there's been a little bit of chatter in regards to the shortened amount of time. People have been asking about it online. They weren't aware of it, but I was aware of it. If anybody had been paying attention to all of Chad Hoover's videos, you guys would have been informed of it. Understandably so. Not, everybody can sit through the videos all the time. So, but anytime you sign up for a tournament, though, you need to check out the dates at the top of it. There's always a list of dates of when it's valid through. So if you're not paying attention, you guys make sure you're paying attention to those, because not all online tournaments run full months. Some of them do, some of them don't. There may be stipulations. So make sure when you're signing up for Tourney X that you're reading all the rules, regulations, and timeframes and all that jazz, so that way you know what your limits are, what's a qualifying measurable fish, that sort of thing. Because all these different tournaments, they could be like 9 inches or 12 inches, or, they're only running from whatever date. I think the KBF monthlies are like 21 or 22 days for this year. We did reach out to KBF to ask the reason why, and we did get an answer back in regards to that. And it was due to the difficulty for them to run concurrent months back to back to back to be set up for the next ones. Because a lot of times they are still trying to get the payouts situated as well as fish judged. You think about it, you've got however many states are involved. I don't think that all 50 states are involved with the KBF monthlies. There might be a point in time that they are during the summer, but I know not all of them come online like in May or April, or you know what I mean? Those kind of dates. I don't think that they do, but I'm not 100% sure. But in regards to that though, so I was aware that I forgot. I knew that it did, and I forgot. Mike was like, "Hey, dude, we should try to go out fishing one time. Today's the last day." And I was like, "Oh, it is, isn't it? I forgot all about that." So just be aware of that, guys. But they said, it just gives them time to get things wrapped up from the previous month before they start, on another tournament. So it's understandable. It's a small operation. There's a lot that goes into it behind the scenes at KBF. So, I don't really have an issue with it. So I think it kind of keeps things interesting too. I think when you give that extra week or so, it's kind of cool. You might end up with a better finish than you might, if there was another week or whatever.
Well, Sam made a good point when we talked about this a few months back in our group chat. He said it actually benefits guys like us that aren't on the water every single day. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it kind of evens out the playing field, I guess. Gives the top guys less time to catch some huge fish like they're used to.
And we've always kind of joked about the KBF monthly. It's like the honey hole tournament. Like, everybody's at their honey holes consistently, just big fish after big fish after big fish, So, yeah, I could see it, for people like you and I who maybe get out once or twice a week versus guys who are out there 3, 4, 5 times a week. So, but
I was gonna. You mentioned Mike Grimsley. I was gonna give him a shout out because he placed 4th in the Radius tournament.
Yeah,
and
dude.
He's a silent hammer, dude.
Dude, he's been killing it this year.
He freaking hammers the fish. Nobody gives him props, man. I see him on the leaderboards all the time.
Dude. He's had a heck of a year so far. He was in the monthly. At one point, he was sitting in 3rd. I think he dropped down to 5th towards the end of it. We tried to go out so he could call some fish, but him and I, dude, we have a super unlucky streak together when we fish. Like last year we fished for the first time together and I skunked and he caught a fish out of the river, and it was actually a good fish, but it was the only one that he caught, and it was like an 18 1/4, something like that. But that was literally the only fish we caught. And then we went out together this year, got skunked. Went out again. He caught a little one, maybe like a really small one. And then I caught what felt like a good fish, but popped off. So that was another bad day. And it's just, I'm kind of scared to go fish with him this weekend because I'm like, dude, we just do horrible. Like, all right, let's go to a big fish spot, increase our odds, you know.
Dude,
But
you guys have to let me know. I want to come. Maybe.
of course, dude. Yeah, for sure.
I want to
thought-
fish with Mike. I've never fished with him yet.
Well, I asked you if you wanted to fish a couple of weeks ago, and you were like, "Oh man, my wife's freaking out, dude, like over this virus thing, man, and I don't know."
Yeah, that was because she runs her business.
She's still doing that, right?
Yeah. The social distancing thing. She wants me to stay away from people.
All right. Well, I'll just bring Lysol, okay? And every time you go to talk to me, I'll shoot you in the mouth with it.
I don't have an issue with it. I'll go. I'll ride in everybody's truck.
I'll
care.
wear a mask and I'll wear gloves.
No,
And then we'll sanitize you outside the truck with rubbing alcohol bath, okay?
Rub me down, baby.
We'll rub you down with it, set you on fire.
That wouldn't be
But
fun.
so I'm signed up again for the May KBF monthly. I got my tournament with Brian, and hopefully I do well. I honestly don't really care if I win or not. I just want to make it competitive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We need a competitive round.
Make it fun to watch.
We haven't had too big of a competitive round yet. I mean, you and Ricketts were the closest, but Ricketts caught one monster fish and you caught three. So you know,
three dinks.
it
I
won.
think they're all like 14 inches.
And then like the next weekend, Brad's like, check this out. Who's 90 inches of smallmouth?
In the same spot.
So that's what I got planned for now. But other than that, man, it was fun doing it until it's kind of cool that you had it turn on when you did where you did, because I'm familiar with where you fished. And you know, like we were all kind of complaining because it seemed to start to fire up, and then that cold front that we've all been talking about lately just shut it all down, man. And to be honest with you, I was really surprised when you started pulling those numbers. I'm like, okay, the big fish are showing up, the big girls are here, you know. So I'm kind of excited to even get to my little local spot. It's been hammered lately, a lot of, you know, bank fishermen all over the place, but
dang hillbillies.
You know, I almost want to try, if I get a break in the weather this week, man, I might try to shoot down there and see what it's like. But I'm afraid to wear it out because, you know, it's a small spot. It's not a small spot, but it doesn't load up with a ton of fish. It loads up with good fish, but there's not a lot of females, I think, that kind of pull into that area because it seems like a spawning area. So, and for those who were wondering, I'm not bed fishing for them. It's on the river. It's in actually a kind of a high current area, but there's a spot that's just off the main current line where they spawn. But I've never bed fished out there really. I may have caught like a couple males, but that's totally been on accident. But go ahead.
I don't know if I've ever seen a bed on the river.
I've seen them, but to be honest with you, like it's the river, so I think the remnants of it just kind of get washed away, and it looks just like it does. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like fairly quickly, because the area that I fish, man, not only do smallmouth, I think, spawn there, but I think that carp do as well. Mm-hmm. And because this spot in the summertime, it's hilarious. It looks like a pig farm. Like it's the only way I can describe it, because it gets real shallow there when when it warms up and it stops raining so much. And the carp is an amazing fish. So I've seen these things be stuck up on the floodplain ledge of the river, and they're in like 6 inches of water in a puddle, and there'll be like 15 of them. And obviously they'll probably die up there because 9 times out of 10, the river, once it hits that summer level, it's not going to come back up there again, even with a big rain. But even in the main river part, below the flood, because the rivers here, we have they're tiered, and there'll be like a level up and then another level. And I'm talking about that kind of secondary level, not the top of it, but the next one down. And then you've got your main river channel. And they'll be in like 6 inches of water. It's just sheer mud, man. Like, cause they're flipping and wallowing around trying to
That's
spawn.
nasty.
And there's like 1,000 of them. Like,
Yeah.
it's disgusting. It literally, the first time I saw it, I didn't even realize what I was looking at. And I was like, that looks like pigs wallowing in mud. And then I realized, I'm like, that's carp, and they're spawning like crazy, man.
Yeah, those things are nasty, man.
I mean, like groups, 10 of them, Dan, just like,
I've seen it
stirring up-
before. I've seen it
Yeah.
before on a lake. Dale Hollow, they were up shallow, and they were just, oh, dude, it was weird. Yeah, it is weird.
But so yeah, I'm at a loss, man, of what to do for the weekend. I just don't want to get the brakes beaten off me by Brian.
So I was looking at the weekend weather here. It looks like you're good, dude. We're gonna have 70-degree temperatures, and it looks like some rain on Sunday, maybe 50% chance. Saturday's
Yeah.
supposed to be 72. You might be good. I was gonna go back to that though. You said about the smallmouth biting in the bad weather. Later on in that day, shout out to Ryan Dahl. He listens to our podcast. He had a good day. Did you see like the fish he caught?
Yeah, him and his buddies posted up a picture, and he's like, this is the main good picture, but he said they caught tons of fish that day.
Yeah, and they were all big.
Yeah.
He had like couple 18s and a 19, and it was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully the river's fired up finally. You seem to have been fired up.
Yeah, it was. I mean, or let me go back. The night before, the river was at like a very low level. It was raining a bunch throughout the night. I woke up and saw that it only went up 0.03 feet.
Yeah.
So I was like, dude, this is good. As the morning went on, I kept checking the river gauge to make sure it wasn't rising fast, and it went up a quarter of a foot. I was like, no wonder they're biting, dude. Rising river with like mid-50s temperatures, they tend to go nuts. So it made sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I took Zach out, and the river actually rose really fast. And that day, it was super, super muddy. But I don't think that the smallmouth had really moved into like a big feeding pattern still. Like, I think they were probably on their way, but dude, it was insane. We saw so many fish jumping. I think there were those the like quillback suckerfish or something, because they sort of look like smallmouth, but I kept seeing that weird orange tail and that little they call them quillbacks because they've got this little like appendage, off of their fins, and it kind of looks like a quill, like off a a porcupine or something.
Yeah.
And I saw those things all over the place, and they were all over topwater just biting. It was funny because I took Zach, and it was, he's 4 years old. He's like, "Dang, there's one. Catch that one. Dang, there's one. Catch that one." And I'm like, I wish it was that easy, buddy. But
here it is, one of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've caught a couple of those things on the Great Miami River with artificial hard lures, like a little crankbait or like a little ripstop or something.
Yeah, I've never caught one.
So, what are we sitting at here? So that was a good one, man. I appreciate you sharing, your experience out there. Again, dude, super proud of you, man. Brad's really making like good moves in the fishing community. He's picking up sponsors. He's doing well in these tournaments. He's got a heck of a social media like following going and stuff. So I'm happy for you, man. It's cool seeing you, get, the accolades and the success because you put in a lot of hard work. I know a lot of people might give you like a hard time or whatever here and there, but overall, man, to me, you put in a lot of work to kind of be where you're at, man. And I just wish you like continued success, from here on out. Cause I do know that you bust your butt. You spend a lot of time on social media. You do the podcast with me, and, it's cool seeing you do well in those tournaments, bro.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Man, I don't like when people like, I don't know, man. I don't want to be considered a hammer. I just don't like it. I told you guys that when you guys all called me Sticks back then. I'm like, don't call me that. I don't feel like one.
You are now.
I don't feel
Sticks. Sticks.
I don't feel like one at all.
Oh, you're working your way up, buddy. So maybe one day you'll just accept it. I'll get you a shirt that says hammer or sticks. It'll be your choice.
I won't accept that title until I win a major trail series or something.
It might have to wait till next year.
Yeah. Or 5 years from now. Who knows?
You never know, man. Never know. Brad Hicks, the on-road tournament angler, coming live from his little RV.
No, I actually don't want to do that. That's not something I really want to do. Yeah. I've talked to my wife about it. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Traveling tournament fisherman. I don't know. Just doesn't. But I'll tell you who can do that here in the next couple of years. Justin Marshall. He's killing it too.
Yeah, he's been on fire. He had a pretty good finish in that tournament as well, didn't he? I think he was around 13th, 14th, something like that.
12th.
12th. Okay.
And then he won a couple weeks ago too.
Yep.
So.
Heck yeah, man. You guys are killing it, man. You're making me look bad. It's all right. I look bad without you guys, so I enjoy it. I'm a trash panda, man. I do this for fun.
I'm doing it for fun too.
Oh, I know. You just got this lucky streak about you. It pisses me off.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, with that, I think we'll finish here. Anything else you want to share, Brad?
I like turtles.
All right. Brad likes turtles. I like raccoons. So with that, thanks everybody for listening. Check out the live feed and check out Brian's podcast live with Scott Butcher and the 5 Live champions. There's going to be a twist. It's going to be a twist to that last championship matchup, and Scott and the boys are going to share it. So tune in. It's going to be a busy Sunday for us at Paddle and Fin. So everybody wish me luck, wish Brian bad luck, and we will see you soon. Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Go check out the website, guys, paddle_fin.com. Also check out YouTube, youtube.com/paddleandfin. If you got a question, comment, want to hear from a future guest, feel free to email us at paddle_fin@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on social media. We're doing giveaways, announcements, things like that at Facebook and Instagram at Paddle and Fin. Shout out to our show supporters, Rocktown Adventures, Loveland Canoe and Kayak, Hammered Lures, Fish Mob Lures, TRC Covers, Ketch Products. Go to ketchproducts.com. You can put the Paddle and Fin logo right on your catch board. Don't forget to go over and pick up your JigMasters Jigs. Use promo code PNF20 and save 20% today. Don't forget to rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to. It helps grow the audience, helps others find our podcast. So please drop a 5-star rating in on the podcast platform you're listening on. Don't forget about the recycled plastics program, you guys. Take your used plastic baits, put them in an envelope, mail them to the address in the show notes. Our man Eric Richards at Hammered Lures melts those down, makes new baits, and donates them to various chapters of Heroes on the Water.